You know that feeling when life hits you with everything at once, and you're standing there wondering if you'll ever catch a break. Here's something that might shock you. The most successful people in history didn't become unshakable because they avoided problem. They became unshakable because they learned to thrive in the middle of chaos. Napoleon Hill spent over 20 years studying the minds of the most resilient people on earth, and what he discovered will completely change how you handle every challenge that comes your way. Most people think resilience is something you're born with, but that's the biggest lie ever told. The truth is, being unshakable is a skill that can be trained, developed, and mastered by anyone willing to understand how their mind really works. Tonight, I'm going to reveal the 8 core principles that Hill discovered, principles that transformed ordinary people into unstoppable forces of nature, even when everything around them was falling apart. But here's where it gets really interesting. These aren't just feel-good concepts or positive thinking tricks. These are psychological weapons that rewire your brain for resilience. And by the end of this video, you will have a complete blueprint for becoming the kind of person who not only survives life's storm, but actually uses them to become strong. I want you to drop a comment right now and tell me, what's the biggest challenge you're facing that's making you feel shaky? Because everything you're about to learn is designed to turn that exact challenge into your greatest opportunity for growth. What I'm about to share with you isn't just theory. It's a proven system that's been tested by millions of people over nearly a century. And the final principle I'll reveal might be the most powerful tool you've ever encountered, building unshakable confidence in any situation. Picture that you're facing the storm of your life. Everything seems to be falling apart, yet there's something inside you that refuses to break. That's the magic of what Napoleon Hill called positive mental attitude, and it's not just some feel-good philosophy. It's your secret weapon against life's curveball. When you truly understand how your mind works, you'll realize that your attitude isn't just a mood. It's the lens through which you see every challenge, every setback, and every opportunity that comes your way. Think about it like this. Two people can face the exact same situation, but one sees disaster while the other sees possibility. The only difference, their mental attitude. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Your brain is literally rewiring itself based on how you choose to think. When you consistently practice positive thinking, you're not just being optimistic. You're actually training your neural pathways to default to solutions rather than problems. It's like having a GPS that always finds the best route, even when there's traffic everywhere. Hill discovered that successful people don't just stumble into good fortune. They condition their minds to spot opportunities that others miss completely. Want to test this? For the next week, every time something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Instead of why me? You'll be amazed at how quickly your perspective shifts. The beautiful thing about PMB, that it's contagious, not just to others, but to your own future self. When you approach challenges with genuine optimism, you start attracting solutions and people who want to help you succeed. It's not magic, it's psychology in action. Your positive energy becomes a magnet for positive outcomes because you're more likely to take action, persist longer, and notice opportunities that pessimistic people completely overlook. Hill often said that your mental attitude is the only thing you have complete control over, and once you master it, you master your destiny. But let's get practical here. How do you actually build this unshakable positive attitude? Start your day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small they seem. Read books like The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, or listen to motivational content during your commute. Surround yourself with positive influence. If your friends constantly complain, find new friends who inspire you to grow. These aren't just suggestions, they're proven strategies that rewire your brain for success. The compound effect of these small daily practices will surprise you. Here's something most people don't realize. Your positive mental attitude isn't just about feeling good. It's about building emotional resilience that makes you virtually unstoppable. When you train your mind to find the silver lining in every cloud, you develop what psychologists call cognitive flexibility. This means you can adapt to any situation, bounce back from any setback, and turn any obstacle into a stepping stone. It's like having emotional armor that protects you from life's inevitable punches while keeping you open to all the good stuff coming your way. The science behind this is mind-blowing. Studies show that people with positive mental attitudes live longer, earn more money, have better relationships, and experience less. Your attitude literally affects your biology, influencing everything from your immune system to your cardiovascular health. When you maintain a positive outlook, your body produces serotonin and dopamine, the chemicals that make you feel good and think clearly. It's like having a natural pharmacy inside your head, dispensing exactly what you need to stay strong and focused. What's truly remarkable is how this positive attitude creates a ripple effect in every area of your life. Your relationships improve because people are drawn to positive energy. Your career advances because you approach challenges with creativity and persistence. Your health improves because you're less stressed and more motivated to take care of yourself. But here's the question that might change everything for you. If your attitude has this much power over your life, what would happen if you decided to master it completely? And speaking of master, there's something even more powerful than positive thinking alone. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Most people are like ships without a compass, drifting aimlessly through life and wondering why they keep hitting stall. Napoleon Hill discovered that having a definite chief aim isn't just about setting goal. It's about creating an unshakable foundation that keeps you steady when everything around you is falling apart. Think about it this: when you know exactly where you're going, every obstacle becomes just a detour, not a dead end. Your definite chief aim acts like a lighthouse in the fog, always guiding you back to your true path. No matter how lost you might feel in the moment, the fascinating thing about having a clear purpose is how it transforms your entire nervous system. When you're crystal clear about what you want to achieve, your brain starts filtering out distractions and focusing only on opportunities that align with your goal. It's like having a personal assistant inside your head that's constantly working to bring you closer to your dreams. You'll notice that successful people weren't just lucky. They had trained their minds to spot chances that others completely missed because they knew exactly what they were looking for. Want to test this? Write down your biggest goal in one sentence and read it every morning for a week. You'll be amazed at how many relevant opportunities suddenly appear. But here's where most people mess up. They confuse wishes with definite aim. A wish is "I want to be rich someday," while a definite chief aim is "I will earn $100,000 by December 31st through my consulting business by serving 50 new clients." See the difference? One is vague hope. The other is a precise target that your subconscious mind can actually work with. He'll emphasize that your aim must be specific, measurable, and backed by a burning desire that keeps you moving forward even when the going gets tough. It's like programming a GPS. You can't just say "take me somewhere nice." You need to input the exact address. What's truly remarkable is how a definite chief aim creates what psychologists call cognitive coherence. Everything in your life starts aligning with your primary purpose. Your daily decisions become easier because you simply ask, "Does this move me closer to my goal or further away?" Your relationships improve because you attract people who share similar ambition. Even your problems become more manageable because you're not wasting mental energy on 1,000 different directions. It's like having a master key that unlocks every door in your life. And the beautiful part is that this key is completely within your control to create. Here's a practical exercise that changed everything for one of my mentees. Take a piece of paper and write your definite chief aim at the top. Then list 3 actions you can take today to move closer to it. Don't overthink it. Just write down the first 3 things that come to mind. Now, here's the magic part. Do one of those actions within the next hour. This simple practice trains your brain to see your goal not as some distant dream, but as something you're actively working toward right now. The compound effect of these daily actions will surprise you. Small steps taken consistently always beat giant leaps taken sporadically. The science behind this is absolutely fascinating. When you have a clear, definite chief aim, your reticular activating system, that's the part of your brain that filters information, starts working overtime to help you achieve it. It's the same reason you suddenly notice red cars everywhere after deciding you want to buy one. Your brain is constantly scanning your environment for anything related to your goal, which means you'll start seeing opportunities, meeting the right people, and finding resources that were always there but invisible to you before. It's like upgrading your mental operating system to run more efficiently and effective. Now, here's something that might surprise you about the connection between your definite chief aim and becoming truly unshakable. When you have absolute clarity about your destination, temporary setbacks lose their power to derail you completely. But there's another element that Hill discovered was even more powerful than having a clear goal. Now, here's where things get really interesting. When Hill talks about faith, he's not just talking about Sunday morning prayers or religious ritual. He's talking about something far more powerful, the unshakable belief in your own ability to overcome anything life throws at you. Think of faith as your internal GPS system that keeps recalculating the route even when you hit a dead end. It's that voice inside your head that whispers you've got this when everything around you is screaming give up. The fascinating thing about faith is that it's not passive hope. It's active confidence that transforms how you approach every challenge. What most people don't realize is that faith literally rewires your brain for resilience. When you truly believe in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, your nervous system relaxes, your thinking becomes clearer, and your problem-solving abilities skyrocket. It's like having a superpower that activates automatically whenever you need it most. Hill discovered that people with unshakable faith don't just survive difficult times, they actually use those times to become strong, wiser, and more capable than they were before. Want to build this kind of faith? Start small. Every time you overcome a minor challenge, remind yourself I can handle anything. Here's a practical exercise that builds faith faster than anything else. Keep a victory journal where you write down every single win, no matter how small. Got out of bed when you didn't want to. Write it down. Had a difficult conversation. Write it down. Solved a problem at work. Write it down. After just 1 month of this practice, you will have undeniable proof of your own resilience, and that evidence becomes the foundation of unshakable faith. It's like building a fortress of confidence one brick at a time, and each brick makes the whole structure strong. The beautiful thing about faith-based resilience is how it creates what psychologists call post-traumatic growth, the ability to come out of difficult experiences better than you went in. When you approach challenges with genuine faith in your ability to handle them, you start looking for the lesson, the opportunity, and the growth potential in every situation. It's like having X-ray vision that sees through the surface problem to the hidden gifts underneath. This isn't just positive thinking. It's strategic thinking that turns every setback into a setup for something better. But here's where faith gets really practical. It changes how you prepare for a challenge. Instead of hoping nothing bad will happen, you develop confidence that you can handle whatever does happen. This shifts you from a defensive mindset to an offensive one, where you're actively building skill, relationships, and resources that make you more resilient. Read books like The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Practice meditation to strengthen your mental clarity, and surround yourself with people who believe in your potential. These aren't just suggestions, they're faith-building tools that compound over time. The science behind faith-based resilience is absolutely mind-blowing. Studies show that people with strong self-efficacy, that's the technical term for faith in your ability, recover from setbacks faster, experience less stress, and actually perform better under pressure. Your belief in yourself becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because it influences every decision you make, every risk you take, and every opportunity you pursue. It's like having a secret weapon that makes you virtually unstoppable, and the best is that this weapon gets stronger every time you use it. What's truly remarkable is how this kind of faith creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own life. When people see you handling challenges with grace and confidence, they start believing in their own ability to do the same. You become living proof that resilience is possible, which means your faith doesn't just transform your life, it transforms the lives of everyone around you. But there's another element that Hill discovered was essential for maintaining this kind of unshakable strength. Here's something that might shock you. Self-discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do things you hate. It's about training yourself to love the process of becoming who you want to be. Hill understood that true self-discipline feels effortless because it's aligned with your deepest values and strongest desires. Think of it like that. When you're truly disciplined, you're not fighting against yourself. You're working with yourself to create the life you actually want. It's the difference between pushing a boulder uphill and riding a wave toward your destination. The fascinating thing about self-discipline is that it's actually a skill that gets stronger with practice, just like a muscle. Every time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you're building what researchers call willpower reserves that you can draw on when you really need them. He'll notice that disciplined people don't have superhuman willpower. They've just trained themselves to make good decisions automatically. Want to test this? Pick one small habit you want to build, like drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, and do it for 30 days straight. You'll be amazed at how this simple practice strengthens your discipline in every other area of your life. Here's where most people get self-discipline completely wrong. They try to change everything at once and then wonder why they burn out after a week. Real discipline is about making tiny, consistent improvements that compound over time. It's like compound interest for your character. Small deposits made regularly create massive returns over time. Start with something so easy you can't fail, like making your bed every morning or reading one page of a good book before sleep. These micro habits might seem insignificant, but they're building the neural pathways that make bigger changes possible. What's truly powerful about mastering self-discipline is how it creates what Hill called emotional stability under pressure. When you've trained yourself to do what you say you'll do, regardless of how you feel in the moment, you develop an unshakable confidence in your own reliability. It's like having an internal anchor that keeps you steady when the storms of life try to knock you off course. This isn't about becoming a robot. It's about becoming someone you can count on, especially when counting on yourself is all you have. The practical applications of this are endless. Discipline in your morning routine creates momentum for your entire day. Discipline in your finances creates long-term security. Discipline in your relationships creates deeper connection. But here's the secret that most people miss. Discipline becomes enjoyable when you connect it to your bigger purpose. When you know that your daily habits are building towards something meaningful, the discipline stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like investment. It's like the difference between going to the gym because you have to and going because you're excited to see what your body can become. The neuroscience behind self-discipline is absolutely fascinating. Every time you resist an immediate temptation in favor of a long-term goal, you're literally strengthening the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and impulse control. Discipline isn't just about achieving specific goal. It's about upgrading your entire operating system for life. You become someone who naturally makes better choices because you've trained your brain to prioritize long-term thinking over short-term impulse. But here's what Hill discovered that most people never realize. True self-discipline isn't about restriction. It's about freedom. When you master yourself, you're free from the chaos of impulsive decisions, free from the regret of missed opportunity, and free to pursue your biggest dreams with confidence. It's like having a superpower that makes everything else in life easier and more enjoyable. However, even the most disciplined person will face defeats and setbacks. And that's where Hill's next principle becomes absolutely crucial. This might be the most counterintuitive thing you'll ever hear, but Hill discovered that your greatest defeats often contain the seeds of your greatest victory. It's not just motivational fluff. It's a fundamental principle of how success actually works in the real world. Think about it like that. Every setback is actually feedback, every failure is actually data, and every defeat is actually a redirection towards something better. But people who become truly unshakable aren't the ones who never fall down. They're the ones who've learned to fall forward, using each stumble as momentum for the next leap. The magic happens when you shift your perspective from "why is this happening to me?" to "what is this trying to teach?" Suddenly, every obstacle becomes a teacher, every problem becomes a puzzle to solve, and every defeat becomes a stepping stone to something greater. He'll notice that successful people have this almost supernatural ability to find opportunity in the most unlikely places. And it's not because they're lucky, it's because they've trained their minds to look for hidden gifts in every situation. Want to develop this skill for the next week? Every time something goes wrong, write down 3 potential benefits or lessons from that experience. Here's a practical example that'll blow your mind. Some of the world's most successful companies were born from their founder's biggest failure. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no good idea. Steve Jobs was kicked out of Apple, the company he founded. Oprah was fired from her first television job for being too emotionally invested in her story. What do they all have in common? They used their defeats as fuel for something even better. They didn't just bounce back. They bounced forward into opportunities they never would have discovered without those initial setbacks. The psychological principle behind this is called post-traumatic growth, and it's one of the most powerful forces in human development. When you learn to transmute defeat into opportunity, you're not just recovering from setback, you're using them to become stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. It's like having a superpower that turns every attack into an upgrade. The key is learning to ask better questions. Instead of why me, ask how can I use this? Instead of this is terrible, ask what opportunity is hiding here. But here's where it gets really practical. You can actually train yourself to spot opportunities and defeats by studying how other people have done it. Read biographies of successful people and pay attention to how they handle their lowest moment. Study companies that turned near bankruptcy into billion-dollar success story. Listen to interviews with athletes who used career-ending injuries to discover new passion. These aren't just inspiring stories, they're blueprints for transmuting your own defeats into victories. The neuroscience behind this is absolutely fascinating. When you consistently look for opportunities and challenges, you're literally rewiring your brain's pattern recognition system. Your reticular activating system starts scanning for possibilities instead of problem, solutions instead of obstacle, and growth instead of loss. It's like upgrading your mental software to run on opportunity detection mode instead of threat detection mode. This doesn't mean you ignore real problems. It means you approach them with a solution-oriented mindset that naturally finds ways forward. What's truly remarkable about mastering this principle is how it makes you virtually unstoppable. When you know that every defeat is just a detour towards something better, you lose the fear of failure that paralyzes most people. You start taking bigger risks, pursuing bolder dreams, and attempting things that others wouldn't dare try because you know that even if you fail, you will find a way to turn that failure into fuel for your next success. But there's something even more powerful than individual resilience, and that's what Hill discovered when he studied the most successful people in history. Here's something that'll completely change how you think about success. Hill discovered that no one achieves greatness alone, and the most unshakable people in history all had one thing in common. They surrounded themselves with other brilliant minds who challenged, supported, and elevated their thinking. The mastermind principle isn't just about networking or finding mentors. It's about creating a synergy where the combined intelligence of the group becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Think of it like that. One log burns out quickly, but put several logs together and they create a fire that can burn for hours. The fascinating thing about masterminds is how they create what Hill called the third mind, a collective intelligence that emerges when brilliant people focus their energy on common goal. It's like having access to a supercomputer made of human brain, where each person's strengths compensate for others' weakness, and everyone's knowledge becomes available to everyone else. Want to see this in action? Look at any major breakthrough in history, from the founding of America to the creation of the internet, and you'll find a group of exceptional people working together toward a shared vision. Here's how you can start building your own mastermind today. Identify 5 people who either way want to be or heading in the same direction and propose meeting monthly to share challenge, insights, and opportunity. It doesn't have to be formal. It can be as simple as a group chat where you share wins, ask for advice, and hold each other accountable. The key is consistency and mutual commitment to each other's growth. Some of the most successful people I know got their start in informal masterminds that began with just a few friends who wanted to level up together. What's truly powerful about the mastermind principle is how it accelerates your learning curve exponentially. Instead of making every mistake yourself, you learn from the collective experience of the group. Instead of solving every problem alone, you tap into the creative problem-solving power of multiple perspectives. Instead of staying motivated by willpower alone, you're supported by the energy and encouragement of people who believe in your potential. It's like having a personal board of directors for your life, and the return on investment is absolutely incredible. The practical applications of this are endless. Business masterminds help entrepreneurs avoid costly mistakes and identify profitable opportunity. Fitness masterminds help people stay consistent with their health goal. Creative masterminds help artists push through blocks and develop their skills faster. But here's the secret that the most powerful masterminds aren't just about professional success. They're about personal growth, emotional support, and becoming the best version of yourself in every area of life. The science behind masterminds is mind-blowing. Studies show that people in supportive peer groups are significantly more likely to achieve their goal, experience less stress, and maintain higher levels of motivation over time. Your brain literally performs better when it's connected to other high-performing brains because you start adopting their thought pattern, habit, and standards of excellence. It's like upgrading your mental operating system through proximity to people who think bigger and aim higher than you currently do. But here's what Hill discovered that most people never realize. The mastermind principle doesn't just help you achieve your goals faster. It makes you more resilient when things go wrong. When you are part of a strong mastermind, you have people who can offer perspective when you're too close to a problem, resources when you're stuck, and encouragement when you're ready to give up. However, even with the strongest support system, there's one internal enemy that can still derail your progress. And that's where Hill's next principle becomes absolutely essential. This might sound crazy, but Hill discovered that fear isn't your enemy. It's actually your compass pointing toward your greatest opportunities for growth. The things you're most afraid of are usually the exact things you need to do to reach the next level of your life. Think about it like that. Fear is just excitement without breath, and when you learn to breathe through it instead of running from it, you transform one of your greatest weaknesses into your greatest strength. It's like having a built-in guidance system that always points toward your edge of growth. The fascinating thing about fear is that it's not actually about the present moment. It's about imagined future, reason that may never happen. Your brain is constantly running worst-case scenarios to try to keep you safe. But in our modern world, most of these scenarios are completely unrealistic. He'll realize that successful people don't have less fear than others. They've just learned to feel the fear and act anyway. They understand that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's feeling afraid and choosing to move forward regardless. Here's a practical exercise that'll transform your relationship with fear forever. Write down your biggest fear about pursuing your dream. Then write down the worst-case scenario if that fear came true. Then write down how you would handle that worst-case scenario. You will discover that even your worst fears are manageable when you have a plan. And once you realize you can handle the worst case, the fear loses its power over you. It's like turning on the lights in a dark room. The monsters disappear when you can see clearly. What's truly remarkable about turning fear into fuel is how it changes your entire approach to life. Instead of avoiding challenge, you start seeking them out because you know there are opportunities to grow. Instead of playing it safe, you start taking calculated risks because you understand that the biggest risk is not growing. Instead of being paralyzed by what-if scenario, you start getting excited about possibilities because you know you can handle whatever comes your way. The neuroscience behind this is absolutely incredible. When you consistently face your fear, instead of avoiding them, you're literally rewiring your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, to be less reactive, more responsive. You're training your nervous system to stay calm under pressure, which means you can think more clearly and act more decisively when it matters. It's like upgrading your internal operating system to run on courage instead of fear, and the performance improvements are dramatic. But here's the secret that most people miss about fear. It's not just about individual courage, it's about using fear as information. When you feel afraid of something, it's often because that thing matters to you deeply. Your fear is actually highlighting your value, your dream, and your potential for growth. Instead of seeing fear as a stop sign, start seeing it as a GPS coordinate pointing toward your next breakthrough. The things that scare you most are usually the things that will transform your life most dramatically. What's truly powerful about mastering fear is how it makes you magnetic to opportunities and people. When others see you facing your fears with grace and determination, they want to be around you, work with you, and support your vision. You become living proof that courage is contagious, which means your bravery doesn't just transform your life, it inspires others to transform theirs too. But even with all this courage and support, there's one final quality that Hill considered absolutely essential for becoming truly unshakable. Here's the truth that separates dreamers from achievers. Persistence isn't just about not giving up. It's about getting better at not giving up. Hill discovered that the most successful people in history weren't necessarily the most talented or the luckier. They were the ones who kept going when everyone else quit. Think of persistence like a muscle that gets stronger every time you use it, and eventually becomes so powerful that obstacles start looking like stepping stones instead of roadblocks. It's the difference between being a sprinter who burns out quickly and being a marathon runner who can go the distance. The fascinating thing about persistence is that it's not about grinding through misery. It's about finding sustainable ways to keep moving forward even when progress feels slow. You'll notice that persistent people don't just push harder when things get tough. They get smarter about how they push. They adjust their strategy, seek new resources, and find creative solutions instead of just repeating the same actions over and over. It's like being a river that always finds a way around the rocks instead of trying to smash through them. Here's a practical framework that makes persistence almost automatic. Break your biggest goal into smaller milestones, then break those milestones into daily action. Then focus only on today's action. When you're only thinking about the next small step instead of the entire journey, persistence becomes much easier because you're not overwhelmed by the magnitude of what you're trying to achieve. It's like climbing a mountain by focusing on the next foothold instead of staring at the summit. You make steady progress without getting discouraged. What's truly powerful about developing persistence is how it changes your relationship with time. Instead of expecting instant result, you start appreciating the compound effect of consistent action over time. You begin to understand that every small step you take today is an investment in your future self, and that understanding makes it easier to keep going even when you can't see immediate progress. It's like planting seeds and trusting that they'll grow into a tree, even though you can't see the roots developing underground. The psychology behind persistence is absolutely fascinating. Studies show that people who persist through challenges develop what researchers call grit, which is a better predictor of success than talent, intelligence, or even opportunity. When you train yourself to keep going when things get difficult, you're not just achieving a specific goal. You're building a character trait that makes you successful in every area of life. It's like developing a superpower that makes you virtually unstoppable in pursuing anything you truly want. But here's what Hill discovered that most people never realize. Persistence isn't just about individual willpower. It's about creating systems and environments that make persistence easier. Surround yourself with people who encourage your dreams. Create daily routines that support your goals and eliminate distractions that drain your energy. Read books like Atomic Habits by James Clear to understand how small changes compound over time. And study the stories of people who achieved massive success through persistent effort over many years. The most beautiful thing about mastering persistence is how it transforms not just what you achieve, but who you become in the process. Every time you choose to keep going when you want to quit, you're proving to yourself that you're the kind of person who follows through on commitment. You're building an identity as someone who can be counted on, especially by yourself, and that identity becomes the foundation for everything else you want to accomplish. And when you combine persistence with all the other principles Hill discovered, positive mental attitude, definite purpose, faith, self-discipline, the ability to transmute defeat, masterminds, and courage in the face of fear, you become truly unshakable in any situation. Look, here's the thing that most people don't want to hear. Everything you've just learned means absolutely nothing if you don't take action right now. You can watch 1,000 videos about becoming unshakable, read every self-help book on the planet, but until you actually start implementing these Hill philosophy principles in your daily life, you will remain exactly where you are today. The question isn't whether these strategies, they've been proven by millions of successful people for nearly a century. The real question is, are you going to be one of the few who actually does something about it, or will you just nod your head and move on to the next video? This channel exists for one reason: to help people like you break free from mediocrity and build the kind of mental strength that makes you unstoppable. But here's what I need you to understand. Knowledge without application is just entertainment. You now have the blueprint that Napoleon Hill spent decades perfecting, the same principles that created fortunes and transformed lives. So tell me in the comment, which of these 8 principles hit you the hardest? Which one are you going to start implementing tomorrow morning? Because I want to know that this video didn't just pass through your mind like background noise. Here's my challenge for you. Pick just one principle from today's video and commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. Don't try to do everything at once. That's how people fail. Master one thing, then move to the next. And when you start seeing results, come back and share your story in the comments, because your success will inspire someone else who's struggling right now. The community we're building here ain't just about watching video. It's about real transformation, real result, and real people supporting each other's growth. If this video opened your eyes to what's possible when you train your mind to be truly unshakable, then you need to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell, because what we covered today is just the beginning. There are deeper levels to Hill's philosophy, advanced techniques that can accelerate your progress, and real-world applications that most people never discover. Don't let this be just another video you watch. Let it be the moment everything changed for you.